Well, as you saw from the front screen, I just closed another one of my ES Strangles, which is one of the main strategies that I use in my account. This is actually my large account. I do these trades based on the amount of money that you have to have set aside, cash to secure the trade because it's a strangle and you have a short call and a short put. And one thing as I go through this with you today and let you know what happened on this particular trade is, strangles are very high risk, very dangerous. You have to be a good options trader before I'd recommend them to you. I'm very successful on my ES strangles, but they're not for everyone. And if you're just learning, I would urge you not to take these trades. Just to give you an example of what I look at from a margin requirement on these is usually the initial margin when I place one of my ES strangles is between $4,500 and $4,800. I try to keep at least 3 times that amount in the account that I can use to adjust or to ride out moves in this type of trade. So if I'm going to trade one contract, as an example, then I would need around 15,000 cash to start with, the way that I trade them. And that gives me plenty of room if I have to make adjustments, I have to roll out, so I have to worry about margin calls, and lets me have a lot more flexibility. You could drop that down to maybe a 2-to-1 ratio where you keep about 2 times the margin available before you start the trade instead of 3. I've just gotten a habit of using 3 times, but certainly wouldn't go less than 2 because a sudden move would cause your margin requirement to go up on these. And if you do not have enough cash in your account, you could get a margin call, which would force you to either add money to the account, sell some other positions, or close this position at a loss when eventually it might be profitable. Let's go over the trade that I placed on 11/15. I just closed it today, which is 11/22. So I was only in this trade for 7 days. And that's why I'm showing a 91% annual gain. And I put that on the screen kind of to get your attention. Truthfully, for these short-term trades, I really don't look at the annualized gain. I really just put that there to get your attention. And because I do not typically keep an ES strangle on 100% of the time, I would say probably 85 to 90% of the time I have one going. I am trying to jump into another one today. And just to give you an idea, I'm looking right now at the 28.15 put and a 32.10 call at the moment. I have not got filled on it, so I may or may not get in that trade. And the reason I'm jumping in it today is because I've got the weekend and then I've got Thanksgiving next week. Now the disadvantage is that a lot of world events can happen. And you don't have an opportunity to adjust. The advantage is you get a lot of time decay. When hopefully things will be pretty slow. So I really like to have these open over long weekends so that I can take advantage of that extra time decay. But now let's review what I was looking at on 11/15 when I placed this trade. What I saw was this big up candle here to a 52-week high. It's been above the 1 ATR band for some time. It's pushed up to the 2 ATR, bounced off it. So the 2 ATR band seems to be holding it in place on the upside. Obviously that could change, but you can get a long grind up that sometimes can be hard to deal with, but you typically don't get a sudden shot up like you do on the downside, as you can see back in here where it hit the 3 ATR band. The other thing I was looking at, I had a daily trend here that it had broken, which kind of indicated to me there might be some more upside here. If it was able to hold the break, which it actually didn't. Right here it was closed right at it, and then you got this candle here pointing to a down move below the trend line, and you're getting some consolidation right here. I actually would not be surprised to see it go back up here. But anyway, I went ahead and placed the 32.25 call as my short, and you can't really see it right here on this screen, but basically my short was right up here. So I had quite a bit of room to the upside. No real support and resistance points because I was in a 52-week high. So I guess I had the 2 ATR and a 3 ATR band as resistance, but nothing else to look at. On the downside, my short put was way down here at 28.15 when I entered the trade right here. So I had this 1 ATR band, I had this trend line right here, daily trend line here. I had the mean, I had a weekly channel line here. I had a 1 ATR band, a 2 ATR band, a 3 ATR band, plus I had another weekly trend line right here, all offering support, for this put down here. Felt real good about that. I'm also, looking at the TTM squeeze indicator. These blue lines show that we're getting consolidation. So I was in the middle of consolidation, which is also good. I wasn't to the point that I was expecting a big breakout, which is always nice if you enter into a strangle. You do not want a huge move against you in either direction. Let's take a look at the wave indicator. The wave indicator, you can take a look at it. Keep in mind my short calls is getting way up here out of screen when I entered right here. And what I was looking on the wave indicator is I was above my 2 ATR band here, so I'm expecting it to pull back into that band and below the band and to move back toward my wave in this area. So I had all three of my wave points as support. I had this band to support, and then I still had my 2 weekly trend lines from the other chart. Also, I had RSI, which was really high. It's telling me that we're going to have a pullback here somewhere, which we did get, and now we're below the RSI. The RSI could still continue up in this area and maybe move up again, but I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't start to get a little bit of a consolidation and maybe a move into the wave. I could also see where you got like a little triangle forming here. Maybe it's going to take a break back to the upside. But I still think there's got to be some relief on this RSI. And that's more toward the trade I'm trying to place today. I still feel that the old support and resistance is good. For instance, I'm trying to get a 28.15 right now, which would put me right in the same area. I've still got the same support resistance and same support on both sides. The only thing that I've really changed is I've added 7 days. So I'm selling time decay, which that's what selling options is about. You're selling time decay. Take a look at my moving average indicator. You've got it. They've expanded here, so I would expect them to come back together, either through consolidation or a move back down. I also see that I had support at the 50-day simple and the 200 simple. So again, a lot of protection down here. And if you notice, with the exception of here, which you have to go back a little further to get a good look at what was going on before, but after it broke the 200 here, it really paid real close attention to the 200 every time it hit it. So, the 200 is still a good support zone for these types of trades. So if I can get down in here, that's a great move, and I'm going to go ahead and keep that in. Go ahead and show you the actual trade sheet on it so you can get an idea. When I placed the trade, again, it was at 31.15. My initial margin was 4,500. I don't believe it went over that at any point during the trade. I don't check this daily, but based on price action, I would be surprised if it went over this. Volatility was 7.2. It actually went up to 9.8, which typically I'd rather see it go down. When I entered the trade, if I held it to expiration, I was looking at an 85% chance of success. I got in this trade for a 435 debit. This was my commissions when I entered the trade. I added the exit commissions right here to the close. So you can see I ended up with a $79 profit in 7 days on a $4,500 risk, and that's my 91.56% annualized gain. And I was only trying to keep 60% of this 435, so I was looking at a 260 close. Typically, I look between 50 to 60%. Sometimes I'll be sitting at 50 and I'll decide to go ahead and close at a 60 just because of price action. That's typically where I'm at on these. If you need to know how to set up my indicators, I teach all that in the description below. There are links to it. Be sure to check those out. Please like the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Click on the notification icon because I do post quite a few videos. Some training, some trade reviews, some future trades. And just let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.